And happy Saturday morning.
Yeah, is this going to become a Saturday morning show now?
Just
Waking up with Jon and Mark in the morning.
10 a.m., just ready to go.
www 420, FMX.
Coffee only.
Yeah, sadly.
Well, we can put a couple of shots in.
Yeah, a couple little shows. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Take the edge off in the morning.
Waking up. We took taking the edge off by going to sleep. Woke right back up and be like, yeah, I need to do it again.
Yeah.
This is necessary for the weekend at least.
Well, breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. Well, no, this isn't breaking news. This is like hot news. New York City had an earthquake yesterday.
But it originated in New Jersey.
It's the NYC earthquake. I'm sorry. Even if it started in New Jersey, it's the NYC earthquake.
That's where it mattered. It mattered.
Yeah, that's where it mattered. That's where it mattered. But yeah, it was a pretty decent sized earthquake. It was a 4.8, right?
4.8. I think it was either 4.7 or 4.8. I was in the office when it happened, and then we felt it shake.
Really, I didn't. But also, my office is on a 10th floor of a building, so I probably was far away from it. But
Mine's only 2 or 3 floors. It's not that much.
Oh, so you're close enough to feel it.
Yeah.
Was it weird? Were you what's going on? Or did it register oh, this is an earthquake right away?
I think at first I thought it was one of those big ass trailer trucks, 18-wheelers driving by for a second. So that has happened before, a little bit, but then it kept going for 10 seconds, 12 seconds, and we were like, no, this is an earthquake. My boss was like, no, this is an earthquake, and it was like, oh my god. And then I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Damn.
And I was like, that was kind of exciting, wasn't it? And they're like, what?
People were bugging out. I was seeing on social media that within 20 minutes there was already memes going on, which kind of reminds me if some world catastrophe would happen. How okay, let's say nukes started flying. How long do you think it would be before somebody makes a meme about it on Twitter?
No, someone will make it as it's flying towards us. And Photoshop an image onto the nuke or something like that, or whatever it is. Someone will be doing that. Some people will be making memes about it as it's about to happen, and then most of us are just going to be panicking through the streets, oh my god, end of the world. Nobody follows any of those. They used to give procedures on what to happen during a natural disaster. I've not met a single person who actually follows that shit.
Yeah, I wonder what is the procedure for an earthquake?
I don't know. I know the one for a nuke and for a fire, but I don't know for...
What's the one for a nuke? Duck and cover?
No, it was literally I think they did them more if you have a desk, you just go underneath your desk and you hold your head tight.
That shit ain't gonna
which is not gonna work. It's you're gonna die.
I have a Russian in my office, and he's super cool. Easily top 3 people in the office. And he told me that because he grew up in St. Petersburg, he told me how our parents had duck and cover. In Russia, they never did that. The saying in Russia was, if nukes start flying, just dig a hole and just lay down in it. That's literally it. Just lay down into your hole.
It was just a more honest approach.
It was just more honest. They're you're going to die.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I was like, you know what? I can appreciate that. But now apparently, some people have argued that a nuclear war is winnable. Because there was a thing on Twitter.
By terms of destruction or who's gonna win.
No, so for example, somebody on Twitter was how motherfuckers in America think a nuclear war will look like, and it's just all how the icon had a bomb, and the bomb just covered every inch of America. It's versus how a nuclear war would actually look like, and it's just New York, DC, just all the major cities, right, and vice versa for Russia. So somebody was arguing so if we just did a preemptive nuclear strike and wiped out the government of Russia, and we are willing that multiple cities in America would be nuked, we can win. This is and then people are making a tweet LOL, a nuclear war is winnable, versus oh fuck, a nuclear war is theoretically winnable. So I wonder what the procedure is for like an earthquake? Because we live in New York where it's not common.
I know that a lot of people do like evacuation processes. Like they'll, especially if you're in a building, they'll tell you that everybody like leave the building now, go out onto the street. Well, because most earthquakes don't like split the whole ground open and then you're gonna fall into it. Most of them just like they create such a rumble that structures can be damaged.
Yeah.
So I think the most of it is just like a quick evacuation out onto the street where we can move. And if it does get worse, then just get further and further away from any like tall structure.
Do you think that, like in the San Andreas fault line?
Yes.
Do you think that will happen in our lifetimes? I hope not.
Probably not. I don't think so.
Yeah, so for those who may not know what the San Andreas fault line is, it sits along the entire west coast of like North America, right? It goes from like Alaska all the way to like California. Yeah. But basically the majority of the fault line sits in California, and that when it breaks, like when it no longer wants to hold, most of California will become an island. Like it's just it sits on like some tectonic plate or something, and it will just become an island. And that is just
some would say that's
insane.
A good thing.
You know, that's
California's got a lot of problems right now.
Bro, like that is just so crazy just to think that one day, like imagine you just buy like $1 million home. You're like, wow, like I made it. I'm in SoCal, and then all of a sudden you just see like water rushing, like magma coming from the freaking ground, and you're like, and it's gone.
Well, all your shit gets burned away every year anyway.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
I saw one picture on Instagram when I had Instagram.
Oh, those were the days.
I'll get it back eventually. I need to find a new addiction. So when I was still on Instagram, I saw this picture. And this guy, he owned like a huge ass house, you know, like acres of land and everything like that. But he had an entire sprinkler system set up all around the house, and he just turned it on when the wildfire started.
Like
and his house was completely safe. His house was completely safe. The land, like it was still green around the house where the sprinklers were shooting everything. Yeah, he was perfectly fine.
I know that California, it has a big drought problem because of its like unnatural agriculture. Like they grow a lot of almonds and stuff in California, which I didn't know. And almonds are very like water dependent, that they take up so much water. So that was just something interesting.
What about the vineyards? Do they have anything to do with it, or just?
I don't know too much about like California's agricultural side, but I know that is a big contributor to drought. And I know that I was watching this YouTube video a couple of months ago about how there's this big upcoming fight between California, Arizona, Nevada, and a lot of like the Southwest over the Colorado River, because the Colorado River, you know, takes up like is a huge water source for a lot of states. And that, you know, California is like, well, we have the most population. We need that water. And other states are like, well, we need that water too. And, you know, there's just like a big intrastate battle over water rights over like the Colorado River. You know
what I think would happen? Going back to like the meme stuff, right? I feel like if there was to be a disaster, they'd create like a challenge out of it. Like a YouTuber would be like, guys, we don't know. First, they start off like, what's up, guys? Another video here. Listen,
like the purge going on in the background.
Like, listen, there's a nuclear bomb coming on our way. We're going to outrun it. Let's see how fast we can make it across the border before the nuke gets here.
Nah, Mr. Beast will be like, how long can I survive in this nuclear bunker?
Apocalypse.
Like, we're going to have 10 people survive a freaking nuclear apocalypse, and the winner gets to chill with me in the nuclear bunker. Like, that's literally will be a Mr. Beast video. Like, wow.
Or whoever leaves their hand on the most irradiated piece of metal without burning their hand off wins.
You know that I think it's Switzerland. Switzerland and Albania are the two countries on the planet that have more bunkers than people. So like in a nuclear catastrophe, like those.
Well, not like singular bunkers. They're like
no, like they're like whole groups of people.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like Switzerland has enough bunkers for 110% of its population. So people can like go into Switzerland and like hide in a bunker.
What made them do that?
The Swiss are just paranoid. They're just like a paranoid nation because of they have like a very strong like neutrality, and their neutrality
just in case like they stay neutral, but just in case someone doesn't honor that.
Yeah, in
then
case
they
somebody
have a
wants to
bunker
smoke.
system.
Well, that like Switzerland has such a crazy history in terms of just like how fierce neutrality they have. Like during World War II, their plan. So like, you know, Hitler wanted to invade Switzerland, but Switzerland is surrounded by mountains. And the only way into Switzerland was roads or tunnels. And the Swiss, you
Just
know,
blocked off the
would
roads.
blow up all the tunnels and all of the bridges leading into Switzerland.
Damn.
And so
They
like
had the advantage.
they were going to make their whole country into a fort, and a lot of the Swiss population would retreat to the south because the northern Switzerland there's like plains, so it's not all like surrounded by mountains, but they would retreat into the mountains, into these bunkers.
Damn. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like
Way to have an advantage.
and it was crazy. It's like I feel like if the Swiss ever join into a war, whatever side they're on, I'm joining that side because that's winning. Like we don't know what they have packing. Like, you know, Switzerland is one of the largest arms dealers in the world.
Really?
Yeah, like they will sell like Swiss made guns, Swiss made air, like, you know, artillery shells, all this stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was like, that's crazy, you know, like
So you don't want to fight, but you'll sell.
yeah, they're like we got to make money somehow.
I thought the chocolate made them all the money.
Or the clocks, or the clogs, but yeah, or the money, or the
money.
banks. Yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. Okay, in your opinion, what natural disaster do you think you would have the highest survival probability in?
Natural disaster?
Or let me like rephrase the question. How long do you think you would be able to survive? Like, let's say it happened right now, right? You know, like a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I'd survive pretty long, I think.
Okay, 28 weeks later, zombies.
Oh yeah, that's not
Like, we're dead. We're dead.
yeah, I was about to be like, we're talking Walking Dead zombies.
Walking
or we're
Dead
talking...
zombies, I feel like I could, because, you know, I was talking to my dad about it one time, and he was like, really, if you live in the South, right? Let's say we're in Georgia, all you need to do is just last like 4 months, because he goes, the bodies will just decompose. So like in the hot Georgia sun, like once they're dead, they'll just eventually just decompose and just melt. So he's like, all you really got to do is just wait 4 or 5 months. Like just hold out in your house.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's gonna smell like shit.
But you don't have to fight.
That's true.
But if it's like 28 weeks later or something, yeah, we're dead. It's done. It's a wrap. GG. You know, or sometimes I like to think that I would be a pretty good, you know, I would have pretty high chances of survival, but I feel like also I would die in a very like stupid way.
Like how?
I don't know. I feel like I think if it was like a zombie apocalypse, I think I would probably die trying to escape and just run into like a basement and be like, fuck.
Like serial killer rules instead of just going out the front door.
Yeah, that's what it would be like. Or I would think like, oh yeah, I could jump and like make it out alive and like, you know, like run away from these zombies, and I would jump out of a window and then just like break my neck.
Or like you're hiding in a closet and then you're like, oh, I'm safe here. And then like you open up like a lighter and a zombie's right next to you.
Damn, I don't want to think about that.
And you're just caught in the closet.
It's like, damn, I don't want to think about that. I'm like, or you know what I thought about, and this is gonna be so terrible, but if it's like, you know, all hell broke loose, like there are no more rules, blah blah blah, bro, I'm robbing my neighbors. It's like pulling like
Damn.
bang, open up this door, like
You gotta rob the ones you know got money or they got weapons.
no, I don't know, because some of my neighbors low key could be packing heat.
I know some of mine are, definitely. Without a doubt.
Or yeah, that's so Like, have you ever seen The Last of Us?
I have not
Really?
actually.
Do you know the premise of it?
Haven't even played the game.
Oh, do you know the premise of it?
Yeah, I
I
know
won't
about like
spoil it,
I know
but
about like the fungus virus
yeah,
thing that like
like,
they're called like seekers or something.
oh, I've never played the game. I just know I just saw the show,
Yeah.
but I know that it's basically based on this fungi that like live in your brain, and you like it's based off of these things that insects get. So like ants will get this fungal infection, and the ant will just basically become like a zombie and will go into the ant colony and just explode, and then this fungus destroys ant colonies. And that the whole idea of The Last of Us was if this fungus was to evolve to withstand human body temperature, because like our body temperature, knock on wood, is high enough where this fungus can't, get into us.
Yeah.
It just dies. So if it, let's say, evolved where it could withstand human body temperature, human civilization is done, right? So that's where the premise of the story happens. However, with The Last of Us, it's like so insane in terms of like the post-apocalyptic world because it takes place in 2023. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like
And the game came out in like 2013.
oh, I don't know about that, but I know like the story starts like 2001, 2002,
But
and
it
then
takes place 20 years later.
20 years later that the majority of the
Ah.
story happens. Like, so we're 20 years into this like post-apocalyptic world, and I'm just thinking like if I was in that world, I'd be dead. It'd be done. It's a wrap.
Well, I
Like,
think they rely on sound, right? To be able like, to hear you.
well, it's like you evolve at some point. So at some point, like you're evolving if you're infected. Like, so for the first like couple of days, you're just like accepting that you're gonna die, and then
It's a slow process.
then after, like a couple of months, you start growing this fungus stuff, and then the fungus like opens up your face because it's just growing out of you, and then you just rely on sound.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's actually really crazy.
Yeah, and then imagine like watching this during COVID. That's why I was like, damn, like this is really just COVID-19.
On
Like the way that
steroids.
they have it, it's like very like, oh, we're gonna go into lockdown, we're gonna do like all these measures. I'm like, oh damn.
And it just didn't work.
Yeah,
Well, you know the movie Contagion?
I've seen that movie.
Yeah. That movie was literally and that came out like 10 years before COVID was ever like a thing. And it was like it was perfect like description of like what the COVID pandemic would look like if this virus were to happen and spread.
You know what sometimes I think about, and this is gonna like sound really crazy.
What
if it was like a lot deadlier? What if like COVID, let's say, had like a 20% mortality rate? What do you think would have happened? Because like COVID really only had like a 0.1%.
The panic would have been 10 times worse because then it's because people were already panicking and going crazy over like because we had no like accurate description of what COVID was, and now it's just labeled as like a flu-like virus. But like everybody in the beginning was like, oh, it only affects the elderly, or it only affects people with respiratory diseases, or it only affects people with predetermined conditions or things like that. And so then everybody's like, so what is it? We don't know what it is. Now imagine we don't know what it is and it's killing 20% of the population. The panic's going to be even worse. Like everybody, like literally, like how like in some European countries they were literally like stay in your home, and if you get out you will be arrested. That's what would happen.
You think that would happen?
That would happen if it got to that. If the panic got to that level at the 20%, we'd be locked in our house.
Yeah, I know that in some European countries like France, you had to pay to go outside your home. Like you had to download a permit and pay the government like 30 euros to leave your house for like 5 hours.
Wow.
And if you
just to go shopping and
or no, to like walk around because there was nothing open. So, and then if the government like pulled you over like, hey, where's your permit? And you don't have it, or if your permit is like expired, they'd be like, you're going to jail, buddy.
Damn.
Like that would be so. I know. I feel like people would start whipping out guns. If the government did that.
You'd have people going crazy. They'd be stuck at home too long. I want to get out of here, and then they're gonna go out, and do something really stupid, or do something in their house that's really stupid.
How long, if you mind me asking, did you like last in like confined in your home? Like you didn't go outside during COVID? Like for me, it was about a month. Like I didn't leave because we had I'm talking about like March 2020. So I'm thinking we really didn't leave the house, feel comfortable until like maybe April in terms of just like going out for a walk around the neighborhood or anything like that.
I think I went out almost every week, like just for like going shopping or like obviously like wearing the gloves and the mask and an extra jacket. And then when you come home, you have to wash up and all that shit. So like we followed all the COVID rules, but like I wasn't like locked in my house for very long. I think like at most it was probably like a week because it was just literally nothing to do until we ran out of food and had to go out and go shopping.
Yeah.
That was it.
I know my sister and we went to freaking Chipotle during COVID, and it was like so apocalyptic. Like you had people with freaking painters masks. You had women wearing like diapers. Like they forgot, so they didn't like. That's
They
when
took
the
their
mask.
they took like a spare diaper and just
Yeah,
wrapped
like
it.
when the mask shortage was going on, they literally just like wrapped diapers around, and I'm like, it's so moist in there.
You know what was really stupid when you had those plastic face ones that like literally just pull it up with my fingers, and I'm just like, how is that helping you? Air goes underneath and goes up. You dumb bitch. Yeah, it'll stop me from sneezing. It's not gonna stop me from just blowing air and it'll go underneath the mask and go up your nose.
No, but like
that was stupid. And my favorite was when fashion designers sold like hundreds of dollars worth of masks in their like
Gucci or
like Gucci face masks or Burberry. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You just spent $200 on a face mask?
just to flex.
Like, you're insane.
I know, but going back to this Chipotle story. So my sister and I, this is when like COVID is going on. So we're waiting in our cars for like this Chipotle. And there's like probably 40 people outside because like there's only like 2 Chipotle workers because, you know, people are getting furloughed, right? And so we were waiting for our Chipotle for like an hour and a half. And so what happens is like this woman in a face mask comes on, and the guy, like the little Chipotle worker, he like opens the door cracks and just like gives you your food, or you just point to like, oh, this is me. Like, you know how they have the lineup of the bags by the window? So this guy opens up and this woman grabs the door and whips it open and presses this guy like, I've been fucking waiting here for my Chipotle. Blah, 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 blah. But the guy's like, I'm not trying to get COVID. Like, you better back up. And this woman swings at him.
Really? Oh,
like,
shit.
And you have all these people behind like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And my
Like,
sister,
damn, now we got to wait even longer.
yeah, exactly. And my sister and I are like, is this woman about to fight and kill this man over Chipotle? Like,
hell yeah. Did she win?
oh no. Like the security guard came in real quick, like threw her out, but she like ripped off her mask and she was like, you know, spitting and blah blah blah. And I'm like, bro.
But like, even what's the point of keeping the door closed? It's in the air. What's it gonna? It's an airborne virus. What's it gonna do?
I don't know. It was just
Closing the door is not gonna help you. Like,
because you're always like it would be cracking open the door and just like giving you the Chipotle.
there's no point in doing that. It literally every time you open up the door, it comes right in through the slit, and then it's like
you're done.
You're done. Like, what's the point?
Like I know this guy, and you're gonna know what area I'm talking about. It's by the Target. The Target next to
The Hutch.
Yeah, the Hutch, right?
Target. Yes.
I saw a guy at one point because, you know, we would go to Target with like not like a scuba tank, but like a little oxygen tank, and he was breathing the oxygen tank, and it wasn't like he had like emphysema. It would be like you or me.
You
like
just,
this guy
I
just
want to
had
breathe as much fresh air as possible.
this guy had like oxygen tanks and was just like, I'm not trying to breathe in this.
Unbelievable.
Like that is insane.
That's insane.
Like, first of all, how'd you get a hold of those oxygen tanks? Second of all,
You got to carry that shit around with you.
you gotta
everywhere
carry
you
that
go.
shit around.
Those things are heavy.
And it's just like, but think about it. Like, you know how invigorated he felt breathing in 100% pure oxygen? He probably felt like God.
Unbelievable.
No. Yeah, I think if COVID was a lot more fatal, like let's say 20% fatality, yeah,
it would be so much worse.
It would be so much worse. I feel like
Yeah.
people
The
would.
panic would be worse. The feds, the army's coming. Army's definitely coming in.
Yeah, Army's 100%
Army's coming
in.
in. Like, calm yourselves down. Get back in your house. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and then we're just gonna wait this shit out. Until
I don't know. I
goes
feel
away.
like at some point it would be like people would be just so scared that the army would just be like, you know, just start shooting. If it was like 20% mortality, yeah, I feel like 1 out of every 5 people dying. Yeah, that's. I feel like there would be.
How
that
big
type
is the population's like what 330 mil?
Yeah. So what's
20% of 330 million?
To make it easy, 300 million. I think 20% is what is that? 60 mil, 60 million. Let me
Yeah,
do some quick math here.
that's gotta be 60.
300 million times 0.2. Yeah, 60 million. So 330 times 0.6.
The 0.2.
Oh, 0.2. My bad. Yeah, that's 66 million people.
So
dead.
66 million people died.
Bro.
It would be war. It would be literally everybody would be killing each other. There'd be panic everywhere because like
That's so
it's insane.
crazy. If like, how would it? I think it would be like Fallout. You would have.
it wouldn't get that bad. But
You don't think it would get that bad? It's
like
66
Fallout?
million
No.
people.
No, it
Well,
wouldn't get
not
that
like
bad.
Fallout in the sense of like radioactive or stuff like that, but like you would have communities. Like for example, right? Like we live in different neighborhoods. If 66 million people were dead, and let's say I'm like, okay, John, I'm gonna come and visit you. I feel like all your neighbors would come out and be like, hey, like you're not from here, we don't know you. You're like that type of thing.
Like if they were coming to our neighborhood.
Yeah, like
that
if
kind of
I,
thing?
let's say, was coming to your neighborhood and be like, oh, what's going on, John? We haven't seen each other like 3 years, let's say, right? You know,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's still like no vaccine or anything, but things are starting to calm down. I definitely
Bro, it's like
feel
that now. My neighborhood's like that now. If there's somebody comes by that they don't know, they ask questions all the time. Oh, I saw that car coming up the other day. Who was that? And I'm like, it's none of your fucking business who that was.
No, my neighborhood during COVID was a lot older. Like it's like a bunch of old Dominicans and Puerto Ricans living in it. And I remember during COVID, I didn't see any of my neighbors for a good year. Like they just like didn't come outside. Or they would come outside very briefly to, you know, just like go grocery shopping and come back inside. You know, it was crazy. And then I remember during COVID when you would have like, today is Saturday, today is Sunday, like those like types of commercials.
Oh God.
Like that was very dystopian. It's just like, hello everyone, have a great day, and remember, today is Saturday.
I don't think it'll get that bad, but that's crazy.
Or we're only gonna be shut down for 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah,
in and out.
2 weeks.
That aged like fine milk. Like, oh man. And I don't know if we spoke about this on the podcast, but when your college shut down, right? Was that when like it was like you're like, oh, this is serious?
That's when the 2 weeks thing happened. So
Yeah.
it was in like March, I think. Yeah, like mid to late March. That's when the 2 weeks happened. And then it was just like, oh, great. I guess we're all going home. Everybody was just like, all right, everybody go home. They didn't take it very
Having
seriously.
Corona parties.
It like, yeah, people were still doing the same shit. Nobody gave a shit. But then after it went full lockdown, and then like the school was like, no, like stay in your rooms, or like you have to go home, or that kind of thing. Like I had to go home. So left, went home, and then it was just like we're moving fully online. Nobody come into class, that kind of thing. So yeah,
Damn. Like a part of me, like those last like 2 years, is just like a haze. Like it's just like I can't. It was so weird. Like I went back to school and it was literally very like how my school did like reacted to COVID was divide and conquer. So what my school would do is that if you were caught with a COVID violation, they would go, okay, here's your options. You get expelled, or here's a pen and you write down every single name that you came into contact with and who was at this party that you were having, an illegal party. And there's your
remember
option.
you remember I
And
remember telling you this.
that was literally like a totalitarian state. Like that, like right there is like, this is literally how dictatorships stay in power for 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years. Just like divide and conquer. Nobody like you had your group of people, but there was also like the snakes in it where
there's always one snitch in a whole group.
They were snitches. Like they had people who were given
per
like,
group,
privileges.
per group there's always one snitch.
Privileges of like, oh, if you, for example, like let's say you got caught at my party, right? You are going to get expelled. But if, for example, you work with, let's say the administration and basically become an informant, right? You lost all your friends. Like you had no more friends.
Oh yeah,
but
of course.
You were protected.
Nobody's gonna take that risk.
And you were, you could still continue studying at the college. And that was just so crazy. Like that destroyed a lot of friendships. I don't know how other colleges did that, but that's how mine did it. Granted, our COVID rate was really low because nobody really like trusted anybody. Like, for example, if I brought in a friend, my roommate would be like, hey, whoa. I'm not trying to get I'm not trying to get expelled because it would be per room. So if you were like completely innocent, unless you were off campus, like you went home for that weekend, there was no, like you were not getting out of it.
I know that my school tried opening it up like a couple times, like in between, whereas like I think when we went to first lockdown, it was like straight year of everyone stay at home, like they're not even going to budge anything. And then the second year, when they were like opening the doors back up, they were like, oh, we'll keep everything open as long as the percentage doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Obviously it did. Because there's no way to control it. No one's going to follow. They also kept coming up with like new bullshit rules that really didn't help anything. It was just more like on a surface level look.
Yeah. To give like you a false sense of security.
Yeah. Like whatever the state required for the school to do, they just had to do it, I guess. But like it didn't really provide, like having extra bottles of hand sanitizer is not going to keep you from getting COVID.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't, just because they tell you to do that doesn't mean it's going to work. So yeah, and then obviously the percentages always went up like a couple times. It'd always be like, oh, it went up to 5%, stop, everyone go back online again. And then the next week it would go back down to 4%. And then be like, okay, now you can open up again. And then it would just keep going back and forth like that. And it was so annoying because it kept disrupting everything.
Yeah.
Like some teachers that I had, literally like one of my classes, my senior year, I probably didn't go to more than like a third of them because my professor just kept calling out. Or just forgot that we had class, but she was just like, "I just come back the next day. I don't care. No, I don't care. But like, sorry, I'm not gonna be there. Actually, just we'll meet. Like it's like one of those classes like 2 days a week. We'll meet the next day. I'm like, all right, fine, free hour.
That's like my school. We stayed open all throughout COVID, so we were open. We had in person and we had like a hybrid class because some of the older teachers were like, I'm not coming in, point blank. But I know that it was really weird because the classes that had in person, if you like, for example, obviously you had to wear a mask and all that. But, some teachers were like, oh, you don't have to, or like, I don't care. But other teachers were like, if your mask falls underneath your nose, I am reporting you to the administration and you're getting expelled. It was a really odd period of my life. And then I know that, did you travel like between states during the height of COVID? Like, did you leave New York?
I don't think so.
Well, I went to Kentucky and it was like two different worlds. Like when we drove to Kentucky, first of all, I feel like a lot of people are looking at us having New York plates on our car. They're like, they're bringing COVID. Like, and then we got off and like, we were the only ones wearing masks. Like the only ones.
The rules are less strict.
The rules were a lot less strict.
Also, you're not in like a crowded city with 8 million people.
Yeah,
it's
so
a completely different world.
We were wearing like our masks, our gloves. We would go in and bro, we were getting so many stink eyes. They're like, you're not from here, are you? Like,
hell yeah.
And I'm just like, oh shit. You know, I remember during college when I went to the head of the Charles, the rowing regatta, we were in Boston, and we went to this after the race. My family and I, we went to this diner, and we forgot to bring our masks, right? And this is when Boston still had the indoor mask mandate.
Mm-hmm.
And we come in, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, you have no masks. You can't like eat here. I apologize." And I was so tired. I come in and I'm like, "We're from New York. We're vaccinated. Like, let us sit down." And she looked at us like so deadpan, just straight, just like, "Why would you say that?" And then she was like, "Just sit down."
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it was very New York entitlement.
That's right. Put them in their place.
Put them in their place. I'm not gonna get some masshole telling me what to do.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. But I know the have you heard about the solar eclipse on tomorrow or no, on Monday?
That's why people are panicking about the earthquake, because
Really?
they're thinking that the earthquake and the solar eclipse are connected to each other in some way. Like the end is near type shit. Like it starts with the earthquake, and then when the eclipse, like I was hearing about this at work because one of my coworkers was telling me about it. He was saying that the earthquake is the first step, and then when the eclipse comes, there's gonna be like more disasters happening at the same time, and then it's like an end of the world scenario.
I don't think an eclipse is a disaster.
But it's like obviously like people online are trying to connect the two together for these like crazy theories or whatever it is. But it's like it was a scheduled eclipse from like the last year. So and I think you can only, even from New York, you can only see maybe about a third of it.
No, if you go way upstate like to Plattsburgh, you can see 100%. We're only gonna see like 93% coverage. So,
Oh really? It's more than that. Huh.
Yeah. So like if you want to go up and see I think it's called the Path of Totality. It's 100% is like Plattsburgh.
I'm not going up there. I'm gonna go outside my office and just like, hey, that's kind of cool.
Do you know the subreddit anti-work?
No.
Oh, brother, you want to laugh. So anti-work is like a group of people that
I can only imagine
hate
what it's
work.
about.
Like they have to go to work, but they hate work. And they're like,
Oh, so they're just bitching about their days.
no. They're like scheming on how to get out of work legally, but still make money. So somebody was like,
I should have checked out this subreddit.
no, somebody was like, you know how you're not supposed to look directly at the sun? What if you cover one eye and you look directly at the sun and then file for disability?
Hell yeah, dude. Great idea.
And they're like, I don't want to fucking work. And then some people are
Did you
like,
respond to it or no?
No. I do not have a Reddit account. I just like look at the subreddit.
Yeah.
And you have people that are like, fuck work, you know, why can't I just get paid more and then work less? They're like, productivity is way up. And economists apparently like in the early 1900s were like, if productivity continues to go exponentially, like we'll only have to work like 20 hours a week and make like so much more money. And then people are like, productivity is up 1,000% since like 1900, but yet we're working longer hours. This is fucked up. I want to go home. Give me more money.
Give me more money.
Like when you heard about Bernie Sanders's proposed bill of like a 32-hour work week.
It does sound familiar.
Yeah, so he proposed that. So like anti-work was like on that. They were like, please
give us a 32-hour work week.
Fuck this job. It's the anti-work subreddit was it's just a bunch of people complaining about working, but also they're just like scheming on ways to just get out of a job but also make money. And with the solar eclipse, it was just so funny that they're like, we could just file for disability and make 40K a year just sitting at home
just
watching
sitting at
Netflix.
home doing nothing. Hell yeah.
Like some anti-work subredditors, because I read an article about it, that they actually were very serious about like improving working conditions, right? And so one day the anti-work subreddit gets invited to an interview with Fox News, right? So like Fox News was like, oh, we're gonna like interview the moderator of anti-work, right? So the moderator gets on, and it's do you know who Jesse Waters is?
Yeah.
So it's Jesse Waters doing the interview, right?
Okay.
And so basically Jesse Waters is like, you know, the standard like, oh, why don't you want to like, oh, what's your mission? What's your proposal? Blah, 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 right? So the guy is the moderator of anti-work is basically going like, oh, I just want better working conditions. I can't afford a house, XYZ, right? And then the moderator, and then Jesse goes, what do you do? Like, what's your job? And, the moderator is like, well, like, I walk dogs for a living. It's like,
Wow.
I'm a dog walker and I really like don't want to work.
I just don't
and,
want to work.
and Jesse is like, so how much money do you make from walking dogs? And he's like, minimum wage. And he goes, and what do you have? Like, what's your educational field? And he's like, oh, I'm like a bachelor. I have a bachelor's degree. And you just see Jesse Waters like, dude, what are you doing? And
You just see the look on his face. He's just like the smiles growing.
Yeah. Like anti-work blew their moderator up. They were like, people are just gonna think we're all losers. Blah blah blah. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, but they just have a lot of memes on that subreddit about just like fuck this job. Like their favorite thing is I am not answering your call on a Friday afternoon. Like remember our last episode, how you were talking about like Gen Z will be very much like, oh no, I know my labor rights. Like I'm taking a mental health day. Like you could kiss my ass. Like anti-work will be like, I'm taking a mental health day on top of my sick days, and then I'm putting in for vacation time. And if you don't do that, I'm suing you.
Damn.
Yeah. So, oh man. But going back to the solar eclipse, so people think it's like connected to the earthquake.
Some people they're automatically creating conspiracies about they're trying to connect and the earthquake to the solar eclipse to like make it like more dramatic than it is. So,
But nobody died during the earthquake, right? Like
no,
it's
nobody
not like
died. It just everyone panicked a little bit, but
Yeah.
nobody died. So they had that, and then I think it's mostly aside from like a little bit of panic here and there. Like most people, I think some people are actually just joking about it. Like my favorite one was when Ice Spice posted online saying that she caused the earthquake. Because apparently, because earlier on she posted a video of herself. I think she was just twerking like on camera somewhere. Is either like I'm trying to remember. I just saw this earlier. It was either on like I think it was in either a jacuzzi or just like somewhere, and then she was like the clapping from my cheeks caused the earthquake.
She probably isn't wrong.
Which was I was just like laughing. That was so funny.
Just grade A trolling.
Well, I think like people are more joking about it because like obviously nobody died,
Yeah.
nothing got ripped open, no.
Well, to be honest, if people died, like they would still be joking.
They'd still be joking, but like you can like joke about it and not get any repercussions.
Yeah.
If people like died from it, then you have to give it some time.
Like, was it South Park that made a whole episode saying like 9/11 is funny? Like, or like, oh,
That
like,
AIDS is funny.
oh, AIDS is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, all right, enough time has passed now that AIDS is funny.
Yeah. How long has it been? A couple of decades? Yeah, it's funny. We can talk about it now.
Yeah. No, I know the next solar eclipse won't happen until 2055. Like in our area of the world will happen in 2055.
Nice.
So like for a lot of like older people, this is the last solar eclipse they'll see. So I know a lot of like older people are like, oh, I want to go see it. Like my dad wanted to go, I think he's going to go up to Plattsburgh and take pictures. Like just like pull off on the side of the road and just, take a couple of pictures of it. And and the solar eclipse is when the sun is behind the moon, right?
The sun is behind the moon, so
And then a lunar
it casts
eclipse.
it casts a giant shadow in front of it. So like when it's like all black, but it has like the rim, the light rim around it. Yeah,
Do you know, you obviously know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is,
of course. Yeah, we literally talked about him for like a good hour.
right? Still come on our show. I remember on...
please.
No, I remember on a podcast, I forgot what... I think it was Joe Rogan's. He was talking about how Columbus, when he landed in the Aztec Empire, or not the Aztec Empire, he landed with in Hispaniola. Like he was like, oh, I need your food, right? Like give me your food. And there was subsistence, natives, right? So they were like, we only hunt what we eat. And he was like, I don't care, like, give me your food. And then he said, like, if you don't give me your food, my God will block your God's sun.
Oh, I remember. So because he knew when the eclipse was
He
coming.
knew when the eclipse was coming.
Was it in that clip? He's like, if you didn't think Columbus was more of a dick, let me tell you right
yeah. And I would just think, like, just imagine, like, being like those natives, and all of a sudden it is like like it's just some random ass guys being, my God is gonna block your sun. They must have been like shitting bricks. Like they're like, oh, like, wow, crazy, man.
Did you get your glasses for the eclipse?
Oh yeah. We already got our glasses.
Yeah,
we're already set. It's ready we're ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Yeah, it's only gonna last, I think, like a couple of minutes too.
Yeah, it doesn't last very long.
Yeah. So are you gonna see it? Are you gonna?
I'm gonna try to. I got the glasses already, so
Oh, okay. So you're just gonna like walk outside your office and just look at it?
probably. Yeah, if it's gonna be, when is it? Monday or Tuesday?
It's Monday at like 2:30.
Yeah,
something
so
like
then
that.
I'll probably be on the site, but like I'll just step out and just look up for like a little bit and check it out.
Yeah, all the people in Manhattan, I think, are gonna try to like find an area of Manhattan because a lot of the buildings just block the sun.
Yeah.
So they're gonna try to look at it like, all right,
How many people do you think blind themselves during a solar eclipse?
at least 2%. That's
2%
what I'm
of
going.
people?
That's what I'm going at. 2% of people. Like, remember that clip?
Or maybe back in the day when they had no idea what it would do, so they just stared at it the whole time.
Like, is it just me, or does it hurt when you look directly at the sky?
Sometimes,
Like, you
yeah,
just look up
on a very
and-
bright day.
Yeah, you just like, not even the sun, just look up at the sky, and you're like,
a little bit. I remember when I was in high school, I was doing sports in high school. Sometimes, like, especially around noon, if you're on like we was track and field, so when you're on the track at around like noon, and then you'd stare up into the sky, and or like all around, the sun would just be beaming straight down.
Yeah.
It would be hard to actually just like look at anything.
yeah.
That's why everybody brings like a pair of sunglasses. All the coaches brought one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm stuck there with nothing. So I'm just like,
Is that like a form of snow blindness? Like, I know it's not snow blindness, but is that like a
I don't
form
know if
of
it
it?
like just jumps. I don't know if it's like a type of material from the arena that like it jumps up and hits you, or if it's just because it's a very bright day outside. But like I remember, yeah, not really. I would just be like squinting all day whenever I'd walk around, or like anytime it was my turn to go up and participate, I'd be like squinting the whole time.
Like, I know for me, we had like, I did lacrosse and football, so we had helmets that provided like shade, to our eyes, I guess. So I never really like
You have like a
experienced that.
visor. They get to
Not a
pull down.
visor, but just like, I don't know, like a little
the
bridge.
plastic, but
Yeah,
you can see
plastic
through
that
them.
can, like, it wasn't like a thick plastic that covered your eyes. Like, some people had visors, but like for me, it was just like, you had the contrasting colors of like the face shield or the face mask.
Was it like a chrome-ish looking?
No, well, ours was red. It was like a bright red.
okay.
So
But you can
I
still
never
see clearly.
Yeah, so I never like experienced that, but I could definitely think, because snow blindness is real. Like, have you heard of that?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, so I could definitely see like what you're talking about. Like, you just experienced a form of snow blindness, but it's just the sun, just its light is just reflecting, bouncing off of the field.
Yeah. It has to be. Well, also everything was like a light blue color, so maybe like the sun. Like if it's like a brighter color, it bounces off faster or something. If everything was black, it would be easier to see because it absorbs more light.
Yeah, well, that's why they have the black paint underneath their eyes.
To like see better.
Oh yeah, so you know how like athletes have like black paint?
Yeah.
So some people think it's just war paint, right? Like, which most people use it just as a form of war paint of like, just intimidating other people. But the actual, like, when you see baseball players having like that black strip underneath their eyes, it's actually to prevent like what you're talking about, like that blindness happening, because the ball is white, all the the stands, it's to help with their eyes.
Okay.
But like but if you see people like doing like the whole triangle, that's just more like war paint rather than actual helping with the eyes. I never did that. I always thought that was a little corny.
How emotional did you get during the national anthem? Did it make you cry?
No, but it was like when the national anthem would play, my school, is like majority black and Hispanic, like my high school. Like it was kind of very awkward where like you would have, you know, like for example, like periods like you remember like when Michael Brown happened, like the whole like Black Lives Matter. So a lot of people would protest by not like standing up for the national anthem or would like take a kneel. So I would be like one of the few like standing up on my team.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh shit.
Well, did they give you shit for that?
No, actually, no. My team never really like gave me shit for it, and I never like gave them. It was just like everybody was like an individual thing, you know.
Okay.
So it wasn't like the one thing though was very weird is that we would pray before. Well, we went to a Catholic school, so
Yeah.
you would pray before your game. We scrimmaged like some public school one time. We didn't scrimmage a public school. Like my senior year, I was invited to the Mayor's Cup, which is like Catholic, all the Catholic schools versus all the public schools, right? Like all the Catholic schools send people to form a team, and then all the public schools send people to form a team. So it's not a scrimmage; it's more like a game.
But it's one team, or it's like
it's one team. So like for example,
they chose like the best players from each team.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would just form a team, and so what happened was that you would have the public schools, you know, they're just like warming up, and then right before the game, all the Catholic schools start like praying, and you just see the public schools like players like, what the fuck, you know. But
did they have their own like pregame ritual thing or something like that, or no?
What do you mean, the public school?
Yeah, for public schools.
Yeah, they would have like their huddle, you know, and they're getting hype and all that. But Catholic schools, every Catholic school would pray before the game. You know, that's just how it worked.
Okay.
But yeah, whenever I saw other players having like abnormally large amounts of war paint on their face, like some people just have all their cheeks black, and I'm just like, that's too much. That's too much. Like, what are you doing? You know. Our coaches never allowed us to have war paint. They were like, no, you're not doing that. Like, that's corny.
Was just because it was
yeah,
corny?
they're like, our coaches just didn't like the war paint.
Like, you shouldn't need that. You should just be good at the game.
Yeah, or they would be like, that takes away from you getting ready, because you know, like, it takes time, because you have to, you know, get the little marker out, or you have the little, like, some people had the stick, like a glue stick. Other people had like a tin, and you would
just
like
take it out and then rub it on your face.
Yeah. So, like, for example, let's say you have a 20-minute warm up before the game.
Okay.
You're probably sacrificing because you have stretches and dynamic stretching, which takes up maybe, let's say 5 minutes.
I remember dynamic stretching. Yeah.
So, you know,
that took up a good amount of time.
Yeah. Like, but we wouldn't really stretch. We'd just be like, all right, it was just routine, like high knees, you know, lunges, sprints, like short burst sprints, you know, just stuff like that, like just getting the body warmed up. So let's say that takes,
you gotta get pumped up before.
Yeah.
You're
So
ready.
let's say that it takes 5 minutes. Then you do a very quick, you know, offensive drill, do a very quick defensive drill. You do quick buddy passing, you know, all that, let's say takes 15 minutes. Then the last 5 minutes would be, you know, suited for getting like, all right, this is what our strategy is. This is what we're going to do. Come on, like X, Y, and Z. If you're doing war paint, that takes time, because, you know, you got to, you know, fill in everything. That probably takes like a couple of minutes, which in a scheme of 20 minutes, that's very valuable. So that's why our coaches were like, no, you're not doing that. That's bullshit. And if you were caught with war paint on, they would tell you to take it off. They'd be like, take it off. You know, you're not doing it. And then it's kind of like gum, you know, where it's like if one person has war paint, let me get some.
And
you know,
it just wastes more time.
And it just wastes more time.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So they were just like, no, you're not doing that. That's corny.
Like, stay focused.
Stay focused. Yeah, that's literally what it was.
Okay.
And then they're kind of also, this was also kind of crazy, but they're like, if you do all this to look good and then you get blown out by another team, that just looks bad.
It just makes you look worse. Yeah.
That just makes you look worse. Did anybody on your teams ever do war paint?
Not war paint, but we definitely did a lot of stretching, the calisthenic warm-ups, just to get the body, the juices flowing. Then what else did we do?
Did you do hammer throw?
I did not do hammer throw.
Okay, I thought you did hammer throw.
No,
I know you
hammer
did
throw.
shock put, but
only a few people did hammer throw. I remember like of the like 20 or 30 something people that would participate at a time, maybe like 4 or 5 actually did hammer throw.
How did they practice that? Like, you know, I feel like, I know, isn't javelin illegal in New York State?
No,
Like,
you
to
can do javelin. I did javelin too. Yeah.
Really? Okay, I thought that was
I
illegal.
did discus, javelin, and shot put.
So, what was like the protocol of, let's say you're doing javelin and then somebody like fucks up the throw and it like starts to veer off?
We usually go to places like Randall's Island, for example, is like a big enough space.
Oh, Icon Stadium.
Yeah. It was a big enough space where you can do all three sports at the same time and you wouldn't have a problem. Or like they designed it in a way where I know that shot put could be done with any other sport at the same time because nobody really throws over 50 feet and you're fine. Discus can go like easily 120 feet
Really?
far out if you're really good at it. So I think they design it where discus and javelin specifically are done when they're not at the same time.
Oh.
Because javelin you can easily throw more than 100 feet, and if it does veer off and go towards the section where discus is, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, because people can freaking die.
Yeah, so they usually had those separated by times, but shot put you could usually just do it at any point.
Did your team do pole vaulting?
We did pole vaulting, all the track stuff.
Wow.
That's what took up the majority of time. Like I'd be done in like an hour and a half.
Oh, then you got to sit and wait, like, bruh.
Yeah, my shit would be done in an hour and a half, and then I have to wait another like 6, 7, 8 hours before that bus came back. And I'm like, I don't have anybody to pick me up, so I'm stuck there waiting the whole time.
Damn, I would be mad as hell.
And like obviously they're like, no, you should stay to be supportive of the team and do this. Like I'm not waiting fucking 8 hours for this.
Yeah. There's a difference between like.
Do you just want me to sit there and do nothing? Everybody else is leaving.
Yeah, like there's a difference between like an hour or two and like, all right, wait with the team. But if it's like 8 hours, bro.
Yeah, it's an all day affair. Track and field is always an all day affair.
And would people come in, like for example, like you would have teammates that would only come for their event. So like let's say for example, if my event isn't until like 1, I'm not leaving with the team at like 8 a.m.
No, you have to leave all together as a group. That's what they wanted you to do. So like all the buses would just be packed with track kids. It's mostly like most of the throwers were very small. It was a very small group. It was barely maybe more than 15 people. So when the throwers got together, they had their own like separate shuttle bus. So we all went together like that. But then the track kids all came together as one group, and then you have to leave all together as one group, which is as expected because you're on the same team theoretically. So everyone's like, even if you're just a sprinter versus the guy that has to do the mile run, you still have to stay there the whole time.
Damn, I'd be mad.
Like because we run together, we stay together, and it's like I'm bailing. I'm not staying.
You're like, see you on Monday.
Like if I could get out of it, I'm not gonna stay here. Yeah. But the thing is that like you have to wait till the end of your event to see if you won or not. So then that was the longest part for me. But I would usually, but again, hour and a half, 2 hours max, and then I'm done. And I'm like, I'm not staying here waiting around. But most of the time, like I couldn't get anybody to come get me, so I'm just like, it was either stuck at Icon or going to Staten Island for one of their sports complex areas.
Oh, ew.
So no, it was a very nice place actually.
But like,
it was in the center of nowhere.
It was in the center of nowhere. All the way to Staten Island though.
Just for the game.
I would be mad as hell.
It was a long drive, yeah.
Yeah, like we went to Aviator Field. Do you know where Aviator Field? Did you ever do events there?
I don't know this one.
Okay, so it's like all the way in the ass end of Brooklyn. Like,
no, we never went to Brooklyn.
No, when we had games in Aviator Field, it was so I was so tight because like, so how lacrosse did was like you'd have a game on like a Tuesday night. Like, just so
yeah, middle of the week kind of thing.
We would leave right after school. Like it's like the bus is leaving at 3:00. You get out at 2:45. You just come out, like pack your bags, come out, and don't even change. Like you'll change at the complex. Like just grab your gear and leave. Right?
We got to go right now.
We got to go right now. Aviator Field, we wouldn't get there until let's say 3:34. And then the game, let's say, starts at 4:45. It's a 2-hour game, 7. Then coming back to the Bronx, you're coming back to the high school, so you are like let's say it's like 9:30, and then you're getting home at like 10, and then you got to get back up at 8 in the morning. Like, and then you also have to do your homework. So you get home, do your homework. You're really not going to bed until like 11, 12.
Yeah.
And then you get up at 7. Your day was shot. I hated going to Aviator Field. Dude. I was like, why can't we just meet in the middle? I remember we played this football team in Brooklyn, and it was so crazy because this team, John, never won a single game for like 5 years.
Damn,
Like
really?
they haven't won a game. Like this school hadn't won a game in like 5 years. We played them. This was the first, and this was their homecoming too, right? This was the first time that school won in like 5 years, like won a game, right? Like we played really bad. It was just not a good day for us, right? John, when I tell you, they started to swarm our team.
Really?
Like, so how it was a public field, it was like a park. The team's fans, or like their classmates, blocked the entrance and exit. They're like, you're not leaving, like fuck you, yeah. Like,
Really?
like,
Oh shit.
like they started to swarm us, right? So our coaches were like, get in formation, get in a line, blah 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 blah. Like, I'm like, are we about to get into like a fight? Like, and some of our teammates are like taking off helmets, like we may get into a fight, like, because they're like screaming profanities at us, because this team hadn't won a game in 5 years.
Hey.
So
that's a good reason to be mad.
So like, they're like drunk on power. Like this is like, how like FIFA,
like, I'm getting something today.
Like this,
I ain't leaving with nothing.
Yeah, and this is like prime of like, well, let's go and riot, like flip a car.
Really?
Right. And this is a high school game, mind you. Right. This is not like a college game. This is a high school game. And I remember like they're like, yeah, blocking the entrance. Your school had managers for teams. So like we generally had girls as our managers. So they were in the middle of the formation. So we're like surrounding them. And I remember they're like, everybody into the buses, blah 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 blah. And they were surrounding our buses. Like they were following us to the buses. Like this.
Damn.
We had to push our way out, get into the buses. Their coaches, the other team's coaches, are trying to like, yo, everybody calm the fuck down, let these people leave, like all this shit. And then I remember I was just like, coach, I am not staying here and being surrounded in a bus. And our coach is like, where do you think you're going? Blah, blah, blah. I told him, like, I'm going home. I'll see you on Monday.
Damn.
And I just called up my dad and I just went to the car. We left. The bus was still stuck for like another hour.
Damn.
Because
they made the right call.
Because they were like trying to inch out. People were like getting in front of them, all this stuff. And I'm just like, this is a high school game. This is high school. This is not college. This is not the NFL, buddy.
No, this is where it gets hype. This is where it gets like people come in on high school games, man.
Yeah, like it was crazy. I'll never forget that. Did you
have fun?
I had fun. I wasn't a starter my senior year. I was a lineman for 3 years, and then I was a fullback my senior year. And I was a second string fullback. So like, I actually got a lot of playing time that game because they're like, all right, we're going to lose. So might as well just throw you
Mark,
in.
get in there. Come on.
Yep, exactly. They're like, all right, Mark,
back.
go in, right? And so I had fun, but it was just like, holy shit. I remember that was a crazy, crazy experience.
Hell yeah.
So Brooklyn is shot.
Let's just don't go to Brooklyn.
Just don't go to Brooklyn.
Or at least the far end of Brooklyn.
Yeah, the ass in the Brooklyn. Aviator Field, I think now is a big, I was about to say a big refugee camp. But it's where a lot of like the migrants are now staying, is because it's huge.
They have them like set up tents.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it was an airstrip for the B-17s in World War II to fly to Europe. So
and
like
then they turned it into a field.
like a park. So it's like a park, but when you go into Aviator Field, there's like a 2-mile runway.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a huge ass runway. And you're like, wow, like this could, like they could turn Aviator Field into an airport, and you would have like, it would be a small airport like LaGuardia. Like they could have that.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. What do you have any like crazy stories about your track and field days?
Nothing really too crazy. I remember my coach going a little ham sometimes. Is like, Nothing crazy like what you had. I remember just like putting up with a lot of a lot of coaches don't want to be there. Like a lot of officials
just
that are
there for the
there,
money.
they're there for the money. They don't really give a shit. I remember like you have to sign in for all your stuff, right? But sometimes they put the events at exactly the same time because they don't give a shit. If you put them like an hour apart from each other, that's fine. Or if it's like if you put JV at 8 o'clock and you put varsity at 10, we can make that work. And then like, interchange that way. But when you put them at exactly the same time and literally like, I can't do both events at the same time because the coaches want you there, right? I remember I ran into one problem where they put the shot put and the discus for varsity at the exact same time. So my coach was like, no, just go to one and then we'll take care of the other one because you can't leave. There's not enough time to go back and forth because by the time it's like a rotation. By the time your rotation comes up, it's not going to work. So I'll talk to the other guy about doing that stuff. By the time I finished, I ran back to shot put, be like, hey, my times were scheduled the same thing. I was told to stay here. Like, what are we going to do now? And the guy's like, you're not doing anything. I'm like, excuse me? That's not going to work. So then my coach had to get involved. And then he's like, all right, fine. But we're going to put him on record for the girls team. And I'm like, I'm a guy, right? Like
That's an easy dub.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
You could have walked away with the gold medal. What are you doing, bro?
It is like, you can't put my numbers in with the girls team. That's going to cause another problem. He's like, well, you either do that or you don't play at all.
I would have taken the gold.
And I'm like, this is complete bullshit. And I'm like, and even my coach was like very upset. He's like, just go perform. Like it's we could either argue for an hour or you just perform. So it was like like every time you show up to these events, people that are working there don't want to be there.
Damn.
Because they know like they're there for the money. They know they're there for 8 hours. They do not want to talk to you. Don't try talking to them because they don't want to be near you.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that was like where the team is like strong connection because like you train together. You're all trying to accomplish the same thing. So that's where the bonds are. But everyone else that's working there just like they don't even try to hide it. They like make it openly clear that they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
They just want to get this shit done as fast as possible, get their check, and then leave. And I used to work some events after I graduated because they were just like, hey, I just need an assistant to come by real quick. I'll pay you like 80 for the day or 90 for the day. And I'm like, all right, I got nothing else to do. I'll help you out.
Did you become the villain? You're like, I don't want to be here.
No, I actively like tried talking to people. I tried like, just like because you have to call them up, be like, oh, good luck, this, like try to like hype it up. And like, I'm the only one there showing like any form of enthusiasm.
Damn.
Everybody else is just like deadpan, like let's just get this shit over with.
Damn.
All right. But we're running a lot longer than I thought we would today. So I'm going to call it. Thank you, everyone, for listening once again.
Grazie.
As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, and all of our social medias for upcoming content. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Peace.